Okay, today I'm gonna go in and check out my 2 packages that I started 2 weeks ago. So that'll be part 3 in that series. And all of my overwintered colonies are busting out of their hives. Their dandelions are out, and I'm afraid everything is gonna get too plugged up with honey. So my goal here today is they still have entrance reducers in, and it's quite warm. A lot of activity at the hives, so I'm going to remove all the entrance reducers today so they aren't as hot, and add a super. So today, with me today, I brought everything's going to get a super. I've got queen excluders. I've got a super for every overwintered colony. And all my supers are wet. I put them away wet, so they'll be very attractive to the bees. They're going to move up into them right away. They're still wet from last year extracting. If I can pull one out, so you can see they're all, get the sun on it right, and you can see they're all soaking wet. The bees will clean up all that beeswax. And so today I brought some pollen patties with me. I've got another jug of Pro Sweet so I can keep feeding those bees to draw out the comb. And I think I'm going to get started right now. Okay, this is probably one of my most populated hives. Got a heck of a lot of activity. So I'm going to go into this hive. We're going to look for swarm cells. It's about going to be 80 degrees or so today. And early May 1st actually, you can see the bees are bringing in pollen. You can see it on their legs, hopefully. Everything's happening so fast. And I am concerned that I'm going to see swarm cells in here because it is crowded. And I got to remove that entrance reducer. And I also have to, I'm going to do a reversal. So we're going to, at the time we do the reversal, we'll check for stores and see how heavy this bottom box was. The top box, I've already done one reversal, and we're gonna see if they need any food. I don't think they do, but we do want to get supers on here because they'll plug the whole hive up with dandelions. The dandelions just came out yesterday, and we don't want the hive to get plugged up, and the queen won't have a place to lay. So. And we're going to give them a pollen patty because even though there's pollen available, obviously, next week's supposed to be cold and they can't get out to get pollen. So we're going to go and give them some pollen to make sure they got enough for next week. Now what I do, I will look at the top looking for swarm cells, and anything that kind of looks like a swarm cell gets squashed because sometimes I'll put swarm cells along these top bars. And you can see they've just about eaten all of that pollen patty from last time. And then I'm going to also look at the bottom for swarm cells. And now I've torn some apart here, but it's probably drone brood. And then as long as it's torn apart, I'm going to also look at it for mites, just because it's apart. Now you can see there's some queen cups being made. I wouldn't call them queen cells, and you just squash them. So I just look at them real good, and I'll hit them with some smoke, and then you can see see if we can get this camera right. You got to get the bare fingers out. There we go. Now you can see on here, hopefully it's close enough, there are some queen cups being formed, and they could be possible queen cells for the future. Here's a queen cell right here, and I'm just going to smash them down. Anything that kind of looks suspect, I'll just smash it. I don't want to see a capped swarm cell. If it's been capped, the odds are high they've swarmed, but there's so much activity going on at this hive, I would have to say they have not swarmed at all yet. Okay, so this is our other colony. The other box, which was the top box once upon a time. And I can look at the brood, and I'm looking to see if there's a bunch of mites. I don't see a bunch of mites. It's not scientific to do it that way at all. But it is a quick, easy way to tell if you have mites. Now, just from the weight of this is heavy enough that I would have to say I do not need to feed it. It is heavy. So we're going to look for swarm cells here on this box. See if we got anything going. I've been hearing about swarming going on this year, right now. So overwintered colonies are ripe for the pickings. This hot weather today is going to get them and put the swarming in high gear, at least temporarily. Then it's going to get into the 60s for the highs. So if we can get past these next couple days, or next day or so, it'll buy us some time. Now I'm going to remove my entrance reducer. It's not windy at all, and it's in the 70s, so I can put the boxes up on end like that. This has some weight to it. So this has some food in it. And I'm gonna give them a part of a pollen patty, just to make sure I got pollen for them for next week. Then this cork was in the bottom. We'll cork the bottom. A lot of yellow pollen coming in, probably dandelions. I'll give them a queen excluder. Mine's a little dirty. I hadn't had a chance to clean it, so the bees will get up in there in spite of that. Now I do have bees on this board here. I want to make sure there's not a queen in there. So I am going to scan it real quick just to make sure I don't move the queen accidentally. Odds are she won't be there, but never say never. And it's just a quick look. I always just look for an oddball looking bee, and I really don't see anything. And you look for a cluster of bees, and then that sometimes in the cluster the queen will be there, and I don't see anything. So we're just gonna do this and close it up. All right, now this is good for another week. So we've done move the entrance reducer so they don't get as hot, which leads to swarming. Decided they don't need food. We did give them some pollen to make sure they have pollen for next week if they can't get out hardly at all for a whole week. And then we put an entrance reducer in, a queen excluder in. If there's a bunch of honey down below, they may just move it up to give them more room for the queen to lay. And now this hive, it needs to be divided, and I really wanted to possibly treat it for mites before I divide. I don't know if that's going to happen, so I'll probably be dividing this over within the next week, because it's going to get, you think it's crowded now. In another week, they'll be starting to hang out the front of the entrance. So that's my strategy for May 1st, at least on my overwintered stuff. Thanks for watching. Okay, a quick overview of what I did in our bee yard here today. I did reversals on all my colonies. I checked for swarm cells. There were cups. I really maybe one or two swarm cells, so I was happy I've got to this and made any interventions before things got out of hand. Now I also have with the reversals and the advent of dandelions coming out, and you can put up a couple supers of dandelion honey if the weather's right and you've got a good population of bees. Well, some of these colonies have the population of bees. We just don't know if the weather's going to be right, because next week's going to be cold. Who knows how much they can get out. But you have to prepare for the worst and move forward from there. So you can see hives are a little taller now because I did put a queen excluder and a super on most everything. This colony's got some bees hanging out. They'll get back in, so no big deal there, because that was the most populated hive. That was the one we made the video on, doing that reversal. So the package bee colonies all look good, the 2 package bees. Now we are thinking doing splits, and this colony that's right here is really weak. So it's weaker. So I'll probably end up doing a split off of this guy, do a divide, and I'm gonna take that divide and leave it queenless overnight, and I'm gonna add it to this colony, do it with a newspaper method, and I'll show how to do that maybe in a week or so. But there again, that's the bee yard on May 1st. So thanks for watching. Bye.